that it was the only Azure Flute event fully programmed by Game Freak. That's like somewhat official. What? Have you heard of Dechi.bin? It like, so yeah, I think it was on a Deoxys event cart. I don't know if it was the Game Boy one or the Generation 4 Deoxys.
So I was on Shiny Collector 98's Twitch stream the other day for just a little while, and he was talking about something called Dechi.bin, as you saw in the intro, and I was like, what? What is this? I've never heard of this. And so he did a little bit more explaining than what I showed in the clip. I didn't want to use too much of his, content or whatever in my own video. But he explained the whole thing, and I was like, spell it. Like, what is this? So he spelled it, and I found the thread on DigiX that originally had it, and so it was essentially on one of the event cartridges. There is a bin file that, when you change it to a .gba file, if you leave it in the GBA game on your regular DS, boot up a Japanese Diamond or Pearl, it will give you the Azure Flute through Mystery Gift.
What?
Apparently it was a test. The Wonder Card even says Mystery Gift Test AGB version as documented in this thread. It only works on the Japanese games, and it's just really cool. Shiny Collector was at first talking about using it in emulator, like transferring his save file to emulator and then doing it there. But I actually happen to own a ROM writer called the GBX Cart Rewriter, and it can flash ROMs to bootleg games. So I was like, I'm going to test if it will work on a real DS when I flash it to a GBA ROM. And it did. So this is my journey of flashing it to the GBA ROM and getting myself a somewhat legitimate cool beta artifact, Shiny Arceus. So here is a bootleg Pokemon Fire Red that I own. You can tell it's bootleg from the sticker and all of the little solder impressions on the back. And I'm going to be plugging it into my GBX cart, rewritable 1.3. And this is going to let me, because it's a fake game, it's going to let me flash whatever ROM I want onto it. And that's going to be the Dechi.bin. Once it's connected, we'll move. Okay, so now that I've got it plugged in, I'm just going to open up the GBX software, hit connect, and hit read cart info and read ROM. This is to make sure that the cart is seated properly. As you can see, it thinks it's a Pokemon Fire Red game, which is pretty neat. Funny thing about this bootleg, if you notice the ROM size is 32 megabytes, that's huge. And it's actually because these bootlegs save to the ROM. They have like a ROM hack that it saves to the ROM. It's crazy. Anyway, here's the model and flash chip and the PCB of the cart and stuff. I have to select that to make sure that it is properly set or what have you. And then I'm going to pick a file to write. It's just going to be the Dechi.bin. So it's AGB ZP3J Dechi.gba. When you get the file, it comes as a .bin file. All you do is rename the .bin to a .gba, and it writes totally well. I just clicked the write ROM, and as you can see, it's kind of loading up there in the corner. The little red light is the indication that it's actually properly writing to it. I don't have a case for my my GB hex cart, so I just keep it on like the static shield, and then I put it back in there when I'm done. I don't use it too often. I know it's a bit of a janky solution, and I would suggest buying a case, but that's, I don't know, that's where I'm at with that. It only takes like a minute-ish to write. It depends on the size of the game, of course, but still, it's a pretty seamless process. And once it's done, we can unhook it and send it to the GBA. So here, I'm just going to unplug my GBX cart, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like on my Game Boy Advance. You can't really do much with it because it's just a beta screen with, it says Pokemon RNG, and then the game number, I guess. I don't know. So here it is booting up on my DS capture card for some cleaner footage. It just says Pokemon Ranger with some sort of model number or something, I don't know. But the real interesting stuff happens when you use a Japanese Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum. So all you have to do at this point is leave it in the DS slot 2, the GBA slot, and boot up your Japanese Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum. It won't work with the English games as far as I'm aware. And so you just go to the mystery gift option, and you will continuously select the first option here. And it'll eventually say that you're receiving something from the AGB, which is the Advanced Game Boy, which is hilarious. That's like the development name for the GBA. Really cool. And then it gives you a Wonder card that's like got a Ho-Oh and a Bulbasaur on it, and I think a Mew was there. I'm going to go back and look at it in a second, but it was just like really interesting that there's this incomplete Wonder card here. So you can go and view it by looking at the cards here. So as you can tell, it's not quite done yet. It's just really interesting, man, that they have a whole unfinished event and a whole unused receiving type. So anyway, at this point, I'm just going to be able to go and receive it from a mart. Just got to check that I have someone with fly. Yep, got my bird. So it's just really interesting. And you just have to fly to anywhere where there's a mart pretty much at this point to receive it. I was in Veilstone actually, and I realized I don't think that the big marts actually have a way for you to receive it. I pick Oreburgh because it's the closest to Mount Coronet, which is where I will eventually go to receive the Arceus. And it'll be there like any normal, regular event delivery person. And now it's in your key item slot and a fully functioning Azure Flute with... I don't know, it's just really cool. I view this as like a semi-legitimate, kind of clean way to get the Azure Flute. It's just really cool. So next step is to getting the Arceus. So I wanted to let the whole cool cutscene play out in its full without my gibbering here. But now I'm going to RNG a perfect shiny Arceus. This is going to be me hitting the delay here. I don't show the entirety of it because, I don't know, there's no point. I'm going to do one coin flip to confirm my seed and encounter. And there we have it, a timid, perfect, shiny Arceus. It has Hidden Power Ice, I believe, but that's not really here nor there. I have an Abra lead because the Arceus frame that I went to hit, it requires a timid synchronizer. That's pretty much it. It's got 30 or 31 in every single stat except attack, and it's really made to be a special attacker. A really cool catch. I viewed this as like kind of the most, I don't know if it's the most legitimate way. It's like, it's not, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's no different really than injecting the event directly into your game, but I think it is quite a bit more unique anyway. I tried to teleport and fly out of here, and that doesn't work, so I'm going to cut to that. So to actually fly off Mount Coronet, you have to be outside or whatever. But yeah, so it was just really cool. It's not really more legitimate because I don't want to keep that kind of thing behind, you know, if you have all the equipment that I happen to have. But to me, it just feels really cool. It's like an old undiscovered event kind of thing. It was just like a really neat thing that you can actually have in a really cool way. If you have the tools to get an Arceus this way, I highly suggest it. It was very, very interesting. I just happened to have all of the necessary components. I had fake carts that I could write the ROM to. I had the Japanese games, a regular DS, and a ROM writer, a GBA flasher. So that's just really cool stuff. Just really lucky. Here's me showing the nature and all of its stats. Really, really fun stuff. I'm glad that there's like some way to obtain this without injection or something like that. Really cool. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm just going to show it off in battle here for a minute. Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you to Shiny Collector 98 for bringing this to my attention. And thank you all for watching. I hope this was an enjoyable video for everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.